Do not make these 3 mistakes because it is the exact reason why average players are being looked at more than your player. So let's go through the 3 mistakes right here. And before we get started, guys, my name is Evan Mendoza, and I played 7 years of professional baseball between the St. Louis Cardinals, 3 years at the D1 level at NC State University, and now I help high school baseball players and their families every single day unlock more opportunities than they thought were even possible. And you're definitely going to want to stick around to the end because that 3rd mistake, guys, is the one that ultimately is the reason why your son is being overlooked. So mistake number 1, it's really not making yourself visible, right? And we want to make sure that we have that mindset of visibility and how we can achieve that, especially from the seat of our pants. Right now, how do we get that exposure without going to a camp, without showing up at a showcase or a tournament or paying a ridiculous amount of money? And really, it comes down to email and social media. Ideally, social media is what you're looking at this video right now, and it's a great opportunity for you to be able to expand those connections to potential college coaches on X, Instagram, here on YouTube. And really, talent alone isn't enough. Like, visibility will showcase that talent that you have, especially if you're able to communicate 3 things. Those 3 things are your 60-yard dash time, your arm velo, and your exit velocity. Now, that's just really on the email side of things. On the social media, this is where you can really showcase yourself on that consistency, right? Because that is important with everything that we've got going on. Is being a consistent baseball player is definitely going to help. Number 2 biggest mistake is just relying on your travel ball coach or your high school coach to help you out in the whole college recruiting process. Guys, speaking from experience, I played a high level high school baseball. We were nationally ranked, not in our state, nationally ranked. And my travel ball team was FTB when there was only 2 teams. So we were like the OG teams. We absolutely killed it. Bo Bichette was on our team, Ryan Mountcastle, Alex Jackson, Nick Gordon, a ton of crazy good talent. And there would be sometimes 100 big league scouts watching our games. So played at a very high level, and those high school and travel ball coaches would tell me all the time, we're going to help you out. I didn't really understand what that meant, especially considering I was one of two players on my travel ball team that was not committed yet.
Real quick, if you have a son in 10th, 11th, or 12th grade who wants to play college baseball, listen up. At the Mendoza Baseball Academy, I built a triple play with the physical development, mental toughness, and a recruiting system that gets players noticed. And it's 100% remote, so no missed school, no wasted travel, just real results from home while your son works one-on-one with me. Click the link below to learn more and book a call with either myself or a team member today.
Think about how that made me feel. I felt like I was the outsider. Everyone else was committed to University of Florida, Florida State, Miami, LSU, Ole Miss. And I was just thinking to myself, holy cow, I don't belong on this team. There were times of self-doubt, without a doubt. If you just rely on those connections that you have as far as your travel ball team, that's where you're going to be missing out a ton. And most families, put all of their eggs into the basket of, travel ball and high school coaches. And they're only allowing them to handle the recruiting process. But that's where, if you think about, if you're part of an organization that has, let's just call it 200 kids, can each of those coaches really outreach to, let's say, 50 colleges on behalf of every single player? If we do the math, which I'm not going to necessarily do it right here because I'm probably going to mess it up, but if we do 200 players in the organization times 5 or 50 emails each, that's somewhere in the ballpark of 10,000 emails. So you do the math. Can an organization or one individual coach really help you out in that regards? In my opinion, no, right? And the 3rd mistake is really your son isn't allowed or isn't creating the environment to tell his story. If you've come across my page just now, awesome. If you've followed me for a while, that's also great as well. But to some extent, know my story because I've been able to document it, not necessarily create it. And that's especially on the social media side of things. There's 2 lines of thought. There's the, hey, I want to go create a piece of content. I'm going to go create content today. Woohoo. And I would say, don't do that. Don't be a creator of content, because if you create content, that's not going to do much for yourself. If anything, it's going to be little bite-sized chunks here, bite-sized chunks here. College coaches are never going to understand who you truly are. Instead, I would rather you document your journey in the game of baseball. There's no real end goal other than I'm here to document, I'm here to basically showcase my journey in the game of baseball. And just like maybe you guys can relate to this, and especially if you're a parent, you might relate to this as well. Maybe it's like you're great, maybe one more, like grandma. Maybe she had a journal. Maybe it was just your great grandma. Maybe it was your grandma that had a journal on her bedside. Maybe you still a journal, right? I'm not a good writer. I'm not a good reader. But ultimately, what they did with life stories, they would journal about their life. They would reflect. And I think by reflecting, that's actually helpful to understand where you're at, where you came from, and of course, where you're trying to go. So ultimately, what we can learn from our great-great-grandma, for example, is to document rather than create, and then also just journal, right? If we journal our experience in the game of baseball, not necessarily on pen and paper, but instead video format, guys, that is the moneymaker, especially in NIL opportunities, in also telling your story. So if I'm here to give you guys a little bit of a bonus tip, if we're documenting, and again, documenting in the regards of trying to help get recruited using social media as a vehicle to help getting recruited, what we really want to do is, especially for our highlight video, it needs to be well edited and it needs to be 30 seconds. It needs to be action packed. It needs to start with your best clip and showcase overall who you are and tell that story. There's a program that I help exclusive students with. It's called Branding with Baseball. It actually helps with the social media side of things. It's very, very interesting in my beliefs because I love social media. And what we're really doing in that Branding with Baseball program is documenting our journey, telling our journey story, our journey or our story are basically just who we are and letting these college coaches come to us rather than we're going to these college coaches. So by all means, guys, if this is something that is interesting to you, if you are interested in documenting your journey, if you're interested in also developing your skills and also playing college baseball, you can always click the link down below in the description to learn how working one-on-one with me, implementing the triple play program can help either you or your player play at the next level.